Every woman walking into a room for the first time has a routine. You check your hair, you smooth your outfit, maybe you reapply your lip gloss in the elevator mirror. You think, okay, I look good, I'm ready, and you walk in believing you know exactly what he's going to notice. Here's the problem. You're preparing for the wrong test, because while you're thinking about how you look, a man's brain is running a completely different scan. And the 5 things he's actually locking onto in those first 5 minutes, most women never find out, not because it's a secret, but because no one ever tells them. Here's the truth that changes everything. Men are not as visual as you've been told. Yes, attraction is instant. Yes, he notices how you look, but within the first 5 minutes, his brain shifts into a deeper mode, one that goes far beyond your appearance, one that starts answering a question he doesn't even know he's asking. Is she someone I want to keep in my life? And today, we're breaking down exactly what that scan looks like. The 5 things a man notices about you in the first 5 minutes. Most women have absolutely no idea. And once you understand this, you'll stop preparing for the wrong things and start doing the things that actually matter. Stay with me, because number 3 is the one that surprises every woman who hears it. The problem: what women think men notice. Here's where most women get it wrong. Society tells us that men are visual creatures, full stop. So women invest hours, sometimes fortunes, into looking perfect. The outfit is planned days in advance, the makeup is flawless, every physical detail is accounted for. And here's the thing, that's not wrong. Appearance matters. It creates the first spark. But here's what nobody tells you about that spark. It lasts about 3 seconds. After those 3 seconds, his brain transitions. It stops asking, is she attractive, and starts asking something much more complex. Is she someone I want to keep in my life? And that question does not get answered by your appearance. It gets answered by everything else. Think about it this way. Have you ever met someone who was breathtakingly good-looking but made you feel uncomfortable within the first few minutes of conversation? Something was just off. You couldn't explain it. You just felt it. Men experience the exact same thing with women, and that feeling, positive or negative, is decided in the first 5 minutes, not 5 weeks, not 5 dates, 5 minutes. So if you've ever wondered why some women magnetically draw men in without being the most beautiful person in the room, this is your answer. They understand, even unconsciously, what men are actually scanning for, and today you're going to understand it too. The core psychology, what his brain is actually doing. Before we get into the 5 things, you need to understand the engine behind all of them. Men are wired, evolutionarily, neurologically, for rapid threat and value assessment. It's not romantic, but it's real. When a man encounters a woman for the first time, his brain is running 2 systems simultaneously. The first system handles attraction, that's the obvious one. The second system handles something called social risk calculation. His brain is quietly asking, would engaging with this woman add value to my life or complicate it? Psychologists call this priming. Within the first few minutes of meeting someone, the brain collects dozens of small data points, posture, tone, eye contact, energy, reactions, and assembles them into a first impression that feels like instinct, but is actually a very fast calculation. And here's the part that matters for you. Most of the data points his brain is collecting have nothing to do with your appearance. They have everything to do with how you carry yourself, how you respond to the world around you, and the energy you walk in with. That's what we're unpacking right now. These are the 5 things a man notices about you in the first 5 minutes, and once you see them, you can never unsee them. Point 1. Your energy before you even speak. Let's be very clear about something. Before a single word leaves your mouth, a man has already formed an impression, not based on your looks alone, based on your energy. Energy is not a spiritual concept, it's a behavioral one. It's the sum of your body language, your facial expression, your posture, and the way you occupy the space around you. And men read it faster than they realize. Here's what settled, high-value energy looks like in a room. Relaxed shoulders, unhurried movement, a natural expression that isn't performing for anyone. You're present. You're not glued to your phone. You're not scanning the room looking for approval. You're simply there. Compare that to anxious energy, tight posture, forced smiles, constant phone checking. eyes that dart around looking for somewhere to land, a nervous laugh before anything funny has even been said. His nervous system picks up the difference immediately, not because he's judging you, but because human brains are wired to mirror the emotional state of the people around them. Neuroscientists call this the mirror neuron effect. You walk in calm, he feels calm around you. You walk in anxious, his body registers that as low-grade discomfort, and he doesn't always know why. And here's what most women miss. You don't have to be the most confident person in the room, you just have to be settled in yourself. There's a difference between performing confidence and actually being comfortable in your own presence. Men feel that difference every single time. Your energy is your loudest first impression. Dress it with as much intention as you dress your body. Point 2. How you treat people who can't do anything for you. This one is underestimated almost universally, and it is one of the most powerful signals a man reads in the first 5 minutes. Here's the scenario. You're at a restaurant, a social event, or ordering a coffee. The waiter comes over. The coat check person takes your jacket. A stranger bumps into you at the door. How do you respond? A man watching you in that moment is learning everything. Not because he's running some kind of deliberate character test, but because how a person treats someone who holds no social power over them, a server, a parking attendant, a junior employee, is almost always one of the most accurate predictors of who they actually are, not who they're performing to be. So if you snap at the waiter, talk down to the hostess, or ignore the person holding the door, he notices, and it doesn't matter how beautiful you are in that moment, the impression shifts immediately. On the other side, if you're warm, gracious, and genuinely kind to people in service roles, if you make eye contact, say thank you like you mean it, laugh easily with strangers, his perception of you elevates in real time. You aren't just a face in a room anymore, you become a person with character, and character is what separates a woman he's attracted to from a woman he can't stop thinking about. Point 3. Your relationship with your own attention. Here's the one that surprises every woman who hears it. In the first 5 minutes, a man is watching how you manage your own attention, not his attention, yours. Are you constantly seeking to be noticed? Does your conversation subtly orbit around getting validation? Do you drop hints about how many people want your time, how great your life is, how busy your schedule is, all unprompted? Or are you genuinely curious about the world and the people in front of you? Here's the psychological truth. A constant low-level hunger for attention is one of the fastest signals of emotional insecurity, and men, even men who aren't particularly self-aware, feel it within minutes. Think about it. There's a particular kind of exhaustion you feel around someone who constantly needs to be the center of the room, who laughs a little too loudly at every joke, who redirects every conversation back to themselves, who needs the group to acknowledge them every few minutes to feel okay. Now contrast that with a woman who listens with genuine curiosity, who asks questions because she's actually interested, who can hold space in a conversation without inserting herself unnecessarily, who seems completely at ease whether she's being watched or not. That quality, what psychologists call secure attention, is magnetic in a way that manufactured confidence can never replicate. Because a woman who doesn't need his attention to feel valuable is the exact woman he most wants to give his attention to. It sounds backwards, but human psychology is wired exactly this way. We move toward people who aren't desperately pulling us toward them. Your relationship with your own attention tells him everything about your relationship with yourself. Point 4. The way you handle small discomforts. Life is full of micro-inconveniences. The table is wobbly, the service is slow, someone says something slightly awkward, the music is too loud, the plan changes at the last minute. In the first 5 minutes, a man is quietly watching how you handle these small moments of friction. Not because he's looking for flaws, but because small discomforts reveal your emotional baseline faster than any conversation ever could. A woman who reacts dramatically to minor inconveniences, sighs heavily, rolls her eyes, complains loudly, makes the moment about her discomfort, signals one thing to a man's brain: high emotional maintenance. And emotionally high-maintenance women, regardless of how attractive they are, trigger something in a man's psychology that quietly says, this will be expensive, not financially, emotionally.
Now here's what the other response looks like. She notices the wobbly table, smiles slightly, adjusts, and moves on. The waiter brings the wrong order. She handles it with grace, no drama. A plan shifts, she adapts without making the shift the subject of the evening. That kind of emotional flexibility is rare, and because it's rare, it's incredibly attractive to a man who has experienced its opposite. Psychologists call this emotional regulation, the ability to experience discomfort without allowing it to overflow into your behavior and drain the energy of everyone around you. A woman with strong emotional regulation feels like peace, and as we've established, men don't commit to excitement, they commit to peace. If you feel like the calm eye of a storm in a world of constant chaos, he will want to stay near you for as long as possible. Point 5. Whether you have a life that exists without him. This is the deep